Welcome to the Website Success Show, the podcast dedicated to helping women in business make the most of the content they're already creating so they can get more traffic and sales through their website with less reliance on social media and paid ads. I'm Jules, the founder of the Website Success Hub, and I love helping course creators, podcasters, and business owners make more money through their existing website. If you have a business you love but you don't love the way your website performs, then this is the show for you. So today I'm going to talk about how we can use AI to help us with our websites. So AI is everywhere, but can you actually use it to help to make your website better, help to make creating content for your website and looking after your website easier? That's the big question. And I definitely would say the answer to that is yes, obviously, because I use it all the time when I'm working with clients, when I'm working on my own content on my own website. I use AI to make everything so much easier. If you're not using it, then now's the time to just give it a try and embrace it and see what it can do for you. So the way that it helps me is it saves me time. It helps me to create content that's so much better than I could create on my own. I was working with a client yesterday, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that and how we work together just to create some fantastic content for her Google profile. But it's so powerful. I really can't stress enough how if you're not using AI to help you in your business, then you really need to. And if you are, think of other ways that you can use it to help make everything easier for you. So we do have to use it thoughtfully, though. When we are using AI, we want to make sure that it sounds like us. We want to make sure that we're not just churning out content that actually we don't even read through it. We think, oh yeah, that's a good response, and actually don't go through and make corrections and let the AI know that we've made those corrections so that it can then deliver better results in the future. So I think it's really important to do that. It's really important to make sure that we are consistently training the AI and using it in better ways and getting better and better over time, really. I definitely feel that it boosts my creativity. But using AI, I think that it helps me to come up with ideas that I wouldn't necessarily have thought of. And I know that one of the objections of using AI is maybe that it would stifle our creativity or rob us of our own creativity. And I definitely don't think that's true. I think it's something that we can use to help to free up other areas of our brain that we maybe wouldn't think about, really. I've talked about AI over the last couple of weeks. So I talked in episode 47 about how I use AI in my personal life and some of the fun ways that I use it and just the ways I use it to make things easier for me as a business owner, as somebody who's trying to just enjoy life and to get some of those mundane tasks that we have to do, take those off of my plate and just generally make things a little bit easier. So check out that episode 47. And then in episode 49, I talked about how I use AI to help with my business. And that was specifically how I use it throughout my week, different ways, things that I use it for every single week, like creating this podcast. If you haven't checked out that one, have a little listen to that one, because there's lots and lots of ways that we can use it as a business owner, just to make life a bit easier, really. So today I'm going to talk specifically about using AI to help you with your website, but I'm going to talk in a future episode about how to use AI to help you with SEO as well. And I'd love to know if there's anything else, any other episodes that you would like me to create around AI, or anything in particular that you'd like me to create some episodes around. I have a ton of ideas around topics that I can create for the podcast. But I'd love to know if there's any burning questions that you'd like to know about websites or SEO or using AI, then let me know. Let me know either in the comments in the Facebook group, or you can text the show. In the show notes, you'll find the link to do that there. And yeah, I'd love to hear from you. So the main ways that I use it is for things like content creation, brainstorming, SEO, and for conversion rate optimization. So looking at websites, looking at what we've created already, looking at ideas that we have already, and looking at ways to make them better. So if it's content creation, things like creating blog posts, specifically creating blog post ideas and sort of more strategic ideas of blogs to create. Things like product description. If you've got a product page on your website and you need to create a description, then that's somewhere which actually that can be really, really powerful for your SEO. If you're putting the features of that product and the benefits of that product in there, in that description, and aligning that with what people are actually searching for in relation to that product, then that can be really, really good for your SEO. And also just to make it more compelling. You read those product descriptions and AI can come up with a really, really good version of why people should be buying this. Frequently asked questions is also an area that I use it for regularly. And this is something that has been really helpful on my own website. So I wanted to create some frequently asked questions around website consulting. And it did a really good job with it. And there were a few things that I needed to tweak and expand on the questions it came up with. But that's how I use it for kind of content creation. Obviously, you can use it for creating content for social media and tying that back into your website as well. So if you've been here for a long time, or if you've listened to me talk before, you've probably heard me say that I firmly believe in creating content for our own domain first. So our website is the hub of our online presence, and everything we're creating elsewhere should link back to something from our website. So if you're creating a frequently asked questions, like some kind of post for social media, have you already got that frequently asked question on your website? And if you haven't, think of that first, because that's the thing that's going to build up that authority. It's going to help you with SEO. It's going to help you in the long term. And hopefully then it's going to also bring people onto your website. If you're linking back to that place on your website from your social posts or wherever you're sharing it, then that all helps to bring more traffic into your website, which then helps Google or other search engines to understand that your website is good and people come here and they spend time there, and they're more likely then to show up in the search results pages from doing that in itself as well. And then obviously I use it for SEO. I'm going to talk about that in a future episode. Things like keyword research, looking for gaps in your content. So looking at what are the things that you need to be talking about and where do you need to add that into your content? Things like page titles and descriptions. I do use AI to help me with that, but I usually find that I have to do some tweaking on that because it's not very good at giving me the right description length. And then the other way you can use AI with your website is using it for conversion rate optimization as well. Conversion rate optimization is making sure, or trying to make sure, that people take the actions you want them to, so that your website is set up in a way that it encourages people to take that action that you want to and to actually convert. So whether that conversion is people signing up for your email list, or whether it's people making a purchase, or it's actually them then enjoying more of your content, thinking about each page of your site and what you actually want people to do. And you can actually then feed that into the AI and look at different pages of your website, tell it what you're trying to encourage people to do, what that goal is, that page, and ask it to actually look at it, ask it to analyze how people will go through your website, ask it to analyze what it thinks you could do to improve that as well. And that you can get some really good ideas for that. And again, I would be cautious with, don't just take everything that it says as absolutely, this is exactly what it needs, because it doesn't have that logical brain or just that creative brain. You can't need both really. And that's where AI will never replace us as humans, because we can look at the bigger picture. A computer or an AI can look at something and give you a logical answer actually, but us being able to look at it and look at the bigger picture of our whole website and our whole user journey as people become clients and become subscribers, we need to think about that as well. So that's where having that human eye to actually look at it and just help to analyze that results that AI gives you. For example, if AI is telling you to add some extra content into your page, but it doesn't actually know the keyword that you're trying to get that page to rank for, then that's where it can steer you the wrong way, really. So that's a roundabout way of just saying, make sure that you think about what it's telling you and think about whether it actually is giving you the right answer from a logical point of view with your own human brain. And that's where it is just that starting point. It's that starting point of you being able to then take what it tells you and make the most of it, really. So I've been working with some clients this week, and one of them, we were working on their Google business profile. And often when I'm working with clients and we're actually doing an optimization where we spend some time together actually optimizing the profile, and we do it there on the session, quite often people haven't really thought about their messaging and what they need to get across in that little short section on our Google business profile that we can describe our business. And even just using AI to help with that is really, really powerful. So this particular client, she wasn't using AI, and we just literally put into ChatGPT a new chat and explained what we were doing and asked it to create an about page. And this client is actually moving into a new audience. She's looked and to attract a different clientele. And so we explained that as well, and explained these are the people she is trying to attract, create an about description, and told it how many words for it to be. And it came up with something really, really powerful. It was something that actually, it was so good. It was like, oh yeah, this is spot on, that it's got you there. And this is where AI is getting so much better, because 6 months ago, or even 3 months ago, it probably wouldn't have come up with that amazing response that it did. And we hadn't even really primed it with a lot of information about ideal client and the offers and things like that. So it did a good job. And that was something that we could then use on the description on her Google business profile. But that will also be really valuable as she's rewriting content for her website. That will be really valuable for that. It's a really good starting point for her about page, and just for a little snippet that she could maybe use when she's introducing herself on her homepage. She could use that there and then expand on that. So if you're stuck on what to do, even for things like your own bio, your own profile, just try using AI to help, because that can take hours of trying to brainstorm and hours of time. It can just save you so much time doing that, and just creating something that actually feels more authentic and it feels more like you. And then you can just go in and tweak it and change it and tell it the bits that you like, tell it the bits that aren't quite right. I can't state enough how powerful it is doing that, really. And then what you can also do is, if you were trying to create some frequently asked questions. Sorry, I'm distracted. There's a dog barking really loudly in the background. I hope you can't hear it. It's not my dog. So, the frequently asked questions. This is an area that we often don't think about strategically on our website, but it's within. Oh, now my dog is barking in the background as well. So if we are creating content and snippets around our frequently asked questions, so questions and answers that people have around our business, and as we're moving more into more AI overviews, when people are searching and people searching in things like ChatGPT and Google Gemini and Perplexity and all the other places now where people can search, then actually having those frequently asked questions, those small snippets on our website that talks about, so for myself, talks about what is SEO in just a brief section, what is an SEO consultant, what is a website consultant, those kind of things, then that can actually help you to then start showing up in the AI overviews. And one of the things with this is that if you haven't optimized for the foundations of SEO, then realistically, you're probably not going to be showing up in the AI results. So these are the things that we need to get in place first. We need to make sure that your website structure is clear. The back end of it is actually set up in a way that allow the bots to go through and crawl through all the websites, whether that is Google's bots or whether it's AI bots. It allows them to go through and read that information in a structured and logical way. And if you haven't done that, then that's the first thing to focus on. There was a discussion in a Facebook group yesterday about the fact that why are you thinking about SEO? You need to be thinking about AI overviews. And actually, I went in and posted a comment, the fact that actually, no, if you've not thought about SEO, if you've not got the basics in place, then Google isn't going to be, and all the AI bots, ChatGPT, whichever bot is showing the search results, isn't going to be choosing your website. So we need to have those foundations in place there, really. And using AI to write those frequently asked questions, then that is a really good way of actually just coming up with creative questions that you could add to your website. This not only helps with actually showing up in search results, it's also really useful for your users. So it can help them to answer those questions. It can help to overcome those objections that people might have, whether that is objections to buying a product or objections to booking a call with you or objections to anything, any kind of objection that would prevent people from taking that next step with your business. The frequently asked questions section can really help with that. And you can scatter them throughout your website, but actually having that there can also then save you time as well. So it can then prevent those areas where actually people are contacting you. And if you're being contacted about a question a few times, and whether that is in the DMs on social media or via email, or if you've got a contact form on your website, if you're getting asked the same question more than once, then add that to your frequently asked questions on whichever page is most logical for that, really. So that's one other way, using AI to help with that. And you can actually ask it to help you with this, help you with the places that you should scatter that throughout your website as well. And then adding that also into your Google profile. So this was another area, when working with a client yesterday, that we wrote some great frequently asked questions. It came in with different angles for them as well. So really, really good way to save some time and use AI to help you with your website in a really valuable way. So that's something you could do. It doesn't need to take too much time to even do that, but it can really help to make a difference, really. And one of the big things that's happening in terms of the AI overviews and in terms of showing up in AI searches is it's going to be more and more important for us to build our authority and to be seen as that trusted expert within the topic, within the niche of what you do and within your industry. We need to be able to show people and show the bots that you know what you're talking about, because any AI can write something about a particular topic, can go and learn about a particular topic. So it's very easy for people to come across as an expert when actually they don't have that authority. They haven't worked with people. They don't have that lived experience of actually being able to talk about that particular thing. So that's where actually weaving your own stories, weaving your own experiences, whether that's experiences within your own life or experiences of how you've helped clients, experiences of why you've done the research, why the studying you've done, anything that help people and help the bots to understand that you know what you're talking about. And these are the reasons that you know what you're talking about. That is another way you can kind of build that authority and use AI to help you with that. And even just with coming up with creative ways to get that information across so that you seem like you're still that trusted guide. You still seem like you're the person that's helping the user or the client, whoever it is who's using your website, you're helping them. It's not so much about you. It's more about how you can help them and why they should trust you to do that, really. You can use AI to help you to identify core topics. I've talked about this in episode 9 of the podcast. If you haven't listened to that one, definitely go and have a listen. This is all about how you have a lot more structure to your content and to then keep within your lane of the things that you need to talk about in your business and have those core topics. And then you can create little clusters of content around that all links together and all helps to show that authority and show you why you are that industry expert, really. So you can use AI to help you with understanding those core topics that you need to talk about. And then create a database of your content. So I've started doing this with the podcast episodes. So I have a Google Doc that's called Podcast Database. And within that, every week when I create a new podcast, I have a new tab in there with the episode number, name, the show notes or the description of that show and the transcript. And then when I'm wanting to think about how I can link my episodes together, think about how I can create other content around that, how I can create content for my website around that, I can feed that into ChatGPT. And I actually already have a chat that I can then just keep going back into that chat. And when I've got an idea for a podcast, then I can go in and actually ask, okay, what other content have I already created around this? I could do this with your online courses. You could do this with anything that you've created, really. You could create a database so that you have somewhere where you can analyze everything you've created. And it's a simple way of doing it. This is one of the biggest powers with AI, is being able to quickly analyze a lot of data. And whether that data is things you've already created or whether it's, stats and numbers and those kind of things, actually thinking about it creatively this way can be so, so helpful and save us so much time without having to then go through and manually think about all of the other episodes that you've ever talked about this particular topic and why they link together. And this is one of the big things with our own websites. It's one of the things that we can do is creating internal links and linking our content together so that it helps users to stay on our website for longer, to binge our content, to understand that a little bit more. Every article they read, everything that they consume of our content builds that connection and helps them understand what we talk about and why we are the expert that they need to be coming to around that, really. So yeah, hopefully that makes sense, that actually create a database, ask AI to help you to look for gaps in the database, look for linking opportunities. Even if you're thinking about a product business, asking it to create potential upsells and potential good linked products and the reasons why, then that can be really, really helpful and save you so much time in trying to look for opportunities within your own content, really. for an example of that, if you were a beauty brand and you're selling products through your website, and if you want to create some seasonal content, so it's Christmas, I've got my Christmas jumper on today. So if you've got your database there, feed that into ChatGPT and ask it then to spot opportunities for creating some seasonal content around a particular product. And it can come up with some really good ideas for blog posts that you could create, or social media posts and things like that. And the reasons why that particular product. So it might be a product that's got a specific ingredient that relates to this time of year, or it could be that it's a product that particularly helps with stress or particularly helps with cold weather or those kind of things. Then this is a great way to just look for opportunities that we might not necessarily think of ourselves. So some of the pitfalls and the objections with AI is that it might feel like it's inauthentic. So I think that's one of the big things that, especially if people have used AI in the early days and then not used it for a while, is feeling like it might sound robotic and it might just not sound like you. But I think as long as you're training that chat, you're training it with what you do like. And if you've already got some really good examples of how you talk, if you're doing reels, if you're doing podcast episodes, anything where it's actually you talking, even if it's just you recording yourself talking about what you do in the way that you would talk to a real person. If you were out networking, how would you talk about your business in a genuine and non-robotic or non-salesy way? Then actually just getting a transcript of that and putting that into a chat that you're training with ChatGPT or Google Gemini or whatever AI tool you're using, then put that in and actually tell it, this is an example of how I speak. This is an example of the kind of language I use. And you can even ask it to analyze that. So if you've got a couple of podcast episodes you've got the transcript of, or a couple of reels that you've done, or a couple of times what you like recording yourself, just ask it to analyze your tone and your style of talking to create then a brand voice guide that you can then load into the chats as well. So the other thing that can often be an objection with this is feeling overwhelmed. So with all of everything's out there, all of these things that can help us, feeling overwhelmed is a really common feeling. We've all had that. I definitely feel it myself multiple times throughout the week. And especially with websites, I think it can often feel overwhelming. But I think this is where AI can help. And you can even tell the AI, I'm feeling completely overwhelmed with what to do with my website. Help me create an idea for helping me not to feel overwhelmed. Or just start with something small. So think, okay, I want to create some frequently asked questions for my website. Ask AI just to do that one thing. And sometimes the chats in themselves can make you feel more overwhelmed as well. So you might have a great conversation with ChatGPT or with Google Gemini in a long chat, and then you feel overwhelmed because it's like, okay, there was loads of stuff in there that I now need to action on. And one of the ways I've sort of started to counteract this is when I get great stuff in a chat in ChatGPT, I take that out and put it into a Google Doc so that I can then kind of sort through it as it's going in. I'm not just chatting through the same things over and over again without actually then getting something out of that chat and something usable that I can then just take and actually use to make my website better and to improve my systems and my processes and all of those things really. So I would definitely say try doing that. So start small, start with something that you can actually then is very usable, because as you get quick wins and as you actually achieve things, it then makes you more likely to keep going, to try doing more, to achieve more. So yeah, definitely do that. Start with something small and easy, really. And then in terms of actually what you can do with that this week, just do one task this week that can help you to use AI to make your website better. So use AI to brainstorm a blog post idea or draft a frequently asked questions section. I would say if you're going to start with anything and you haven't looked at your frequently asked questions recently, or you've never looked at it with AI, look at that. Look at your website, whether it's your homepage or your services page or whichever page you're thinking, actually, I could do with some new frequently asked questions for my website. Feed your existing frequently asked questions into ChatGPT and ask it to come up with some new frequently asked questions. Ask it to come up with them from a point of view of the potential objections that people would have, the potential things that people could be searching for on Google in relation to what you do, and come up with some frequently asked questions and add them into your website. Even if you only add one extra frequently asked question into your website, just doing that one thing is helping you. You're starting to move forward. And if you've got your Google Business Profile set up as well, then add that question there. Maybe ask ChatGPT just to slightly tweak it so it's not exactly duplicate content between your website and your Google profile, but just doing that as well. You can go in as the business owner and you can ask questions and you can answer them. And that's really helpful in terms of building out your profile, keeping it up to date, and just answering those questions and those objections for potential clients, really. Focus on refining the output to make sure that it matches your brand voice as well. So I've suggested some ideas of how to do that. If you did nothing else but created a brand voice document, so within a Google Doc, go through, add some examples of the way that you talk, whether that's emails, whether that is podcast transcripts, whether it's real transcripts, whichever way, add that in and feed that into ChatGPT as a guide and tell it this is a guide. Don't take the content from here. This is just the style and the tone. And that in itself can be really, really helpful. And the reason I would say to do that in a Google Doc is because then you can add to it within that document and then use that in different pieces as well to help you. So if you would like some help, if you feel like actually even just getting started with how AI can help you in your business, then we can go through and just start thinking about how you can use AI to make your voice more authentic, make the outputs more authentic to you, using it in your website strategy, using it to help you just get started, even with things like your Google profile. Then this is one of the things that I've been doing a lot with clients recently and really enjoy doing it. It's great to actually just see that sort of revelation moment when you get a good response from ChatGPT, and it's something that you know is going to really connect with your customers and that you can use to really help to get your messaging across in a way that you want to. So if you'd like to do that, then book a power hour and we can have a chat and see what we can come up with for your website. Really, it's so powerful, and I think it can make a massive, massive difference. So I hope that's been helpful. But in a future episode, as I say, I'm going to talk about how we can use AI to help us with SEO and help make that easier. There's so much potential there. And I think that's one of the big things that will change over the next year or so. It's already changing the SEO industry, and just thinking about how we can actually use these tools just to make life easier and make these things that can sometimes feel a bit too techy and a bit too overwhelming, and just break it down and make it easier, really. I'm all about bite-sized SEO. My biggest change this year has been in breaking down those chunks of things that you can do to make progress on your website. And we can't solve all the problems in one day. SEO takes time to implement. It takes time to make changes. And that's one thing I would say, is that make sure that you are moving forward. If you haven't looked at your website for 6 months or 6 weeks or however long, if you've done nothing to improve it, just think about the small things you can do to help it. And that then shows Google, and it shows any other AI bots that your website is up to date. And it helps to show that you are a genuine business, and it helps you to stand out against all the sea of content that's coming out now, show that we are a genuine human and that we are the person to be trusted, really. So I hope that's helpful. Have a lovely weekend. I am going Christmas networking this morning, which is why I have the Christmas jumper on. And then I will definitely be swimming. It's colder and colder. It was 8 degrees last week, but I love it. I massively enjoy it, especially if it's a day like today where the sun's out, just a clear, crisp morning, then it's amazing. So have a good one, and I'll see you soon. Bye.